video games are for nerds. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about them. That's why you're listening to The Week in Gaming, the only gaming podcast that breaks down the last 7 days and tears games apart from the inside. Ugh. So forget your worries, open your ears, and join Simon Miller and a co-host for the entertainment chatter you need. Also, screw Dark Souls.
Hello and welcome to the returning, once again, Week in Gaming. Which, I mean, the title is ridiculous. What an ironic title, The Week in Gaming, for a podcast we never just going to go live. However, I do have good intentions going forward. I would like it to start going live every Monday. So if you keep your fingers crossed and maybe wish that will happen, maybe it will. You never know. If you have just stumbled across this, my name is Simon Miller. I'm a man that does lots of stuff on the internet, including this very podcast, where I just talk about games for a while. Originally, it was more of a satirical show, but that kind of didn't work out in podcasts and people got confused. But now you can go to youtube.com/the Miller Report rules and you can watch my weekly Miller Report that goes weekly every Thursday. And that is a satirical news show. So that's what happened. That's what it evolved into. Anyway, we are going to go through some of the big stories over the last 7 days, or maybe a bit longer. And to do that with me today, I have a very nice man who does support me on patreon.com/Simon316, which makes all of these podcasts possible. And he's been on before and he knows his stuff. And it's my man, Sam Bishop. How you doing today, my friend?
Yeah, not doing too bad, thanks. Nice to be on here. Nice to be podcasting again.
It is, isn't it? Especially, you may have been the last one I did.
Maybe.
I mean, it's bad. Me and Sam were talking before I came on. Like, if you listen to Simon's Pro Wrestling podcast, which is obviously my wrestling podcast version of this, and we do have people on from time to time. I think we got a guest this Wednesday as well, which will be cool. For some reason, I can just wax lyrical forever about wrestling. But when it comes to games, I need somebody to bounce off. So Sam is very graciously supports me anyway, but he's also very graciously given me his time. So Sam, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Now, we're going to start off. I mean, I've already done a video on this today, but I want to talk about it anyway. The Colossus PS4 comes out, I think, Wednesday, I believe, if you listen to this on the Monday. It's the 8th, right? Yes, I think that's Wednesday. No, that's the 7th. Whatever. It comes out some point this week. I've been lucky enough to been playing around with it. So did you play it when it came out in 2005?
No, it's one of those games like, I should get around to getting that. And then when the remaster was announced, it's just like, I'll just play that then.
Does that mean you've never played it?
That means I've never...
Oh, man. All right, so let's start there. So, every time people talk about it, they get all wanky. We know that. You can't talk about Shadow of the Colossus without going, it's breathtaking and majestic and, the mountains, pierce my soul and all this bollocks. But what... Because, I mean, that game has an incredible amount of hype. So what is your impression right now going into it? Surely a part of you is like, there is no way this game can be anywhere near as good as what everybody says. Because the barrier, well, not the barrier, but the level and the bar is so high, it's going to have to be the best game you've ever played, surely, to even have the same impact as it did on people sort of 13 years ago.
Well, I guess it's like it's not like Dark Souls, right, where it has those fan base that are just like really like aggressive. Everyone's just like, that game's really good, you should play it, and I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, and that's it. That's sort of the extent of the conversation, which is nice.
What I mean, this sounds like, I don't mean this in a patronising way. I'm just genuinely intrigued. What do you think that game is? Like, do you know enough about it that you actually know the deal, or have you kind of kept far enough away where you've kind of got the concept, but you don't really know the whole sort of idea?
Well, people tell me it's very minimalist storytelling, lots of panning landscapes, lots of lovely soundtrack, and then you take on these big, larger than life, literally, like Colossus and stuff. And so, yeah, I know it's about that, and that sounds good. But yeah, it's not. People don't go on about it. That's one of those things. So it's not been turned off, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's actually weird because it actually, when it came out in 2005, it didn't sell that well. I mean, it did well, but it's not like it sold Call of Duty levels. It's not like it was this, groundbreaking video game that, introduced a load of people to the genre. It was just a critical darling that people, went nuts for.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's obviously why I want to play it. But like the longer you leave it, I guess when a remaster comes out, you're like, I might as well play that. So,
well, this one, I mean, the best thing about this one is Blue Point Games, who now seem to be like the king of remasters. Or really, I mean, it's not even a remaster. This is a remake. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You can tell when you're playing it. They've gone in and, built, I don't want to say built from the ground up or anything like that. But yeah, it's not like any remaster I've played in the sense, it doesn't look like they've just sort of whacked a nice coat of paint over the top. It genuinely looks like it's been developed using the power that we have in 2018. And the reason why that is so good is because, I mean, the game itself isn't about visuals, nor is it about music, nor is it about what you do. It's about how those three elements come together. This is why I love it so much. And this is why the visuals do help. Because like almost the theme of Shadow of the Colossus is emptiness. As like, as depressing as that sounds. But that's why the visuals and the soundtrack, obviously the soundtrack's fine, whatever. But that's why the visuals tie so well into it. Because when you have this vast landscape and you can just sort of look into it and almost feel hopeless, like, well, what the hell am I meant to do? You do lose that if you go back to the PS2 a little bit, because it does look jagged and not as nice as it once did. But now, the fact it looks like a PlayStation 4 game, it does bring that atmosphere that, for me, is the reason I loved it so much to begin with. It is a wanky art game, but when a wanky art game is done really well, it's all those themes coming together, that make it so good. And it's such a strange game because all you ever really do, it's just a puzzle game. Because to get to the Colossi, or the Colossus, whatever, is you have to figure out a landscape puzzle. And then, when you get to the Colossi, it's about figuring out, the puzzle of bringing them to their knees or on the floor, whatever you have to do, so you can plunge a sword into their stomach or whatever. And I find that fascinating. Like, it's basically Tetris. And yet it's, I guess Tetris has a similar kind of vibe. But that's why I find it incredible. And that's why I find it amazing that 13 years on, and me included, I include myself on this, people are still sort of, blowing their minds about this thing, even though essentially you don't do anything. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's like, it sounds wanky. I'm an ex-English literature student, like, it's fine. But it's just like, it's the game that like makes you feel. You know?
It does. It does.
It's the emptiness and the hopelessness, and that's personally why I like Dark Souls, because that world is so broken and dead. Yeah. And it's like, that's why it sort of reminds me of that, as horrific as that may sound. And that's why, Shadow of the Colossus appeals to me as some wanky English literature student. So.
No, but you're right, because let's get well wanky. Who cares? There is a certain, when it's done right, there is a certain beauty in that emptiness and that nothingness. Like, it's like, how have you managed to, make something that just feels so dead? And yet, like you say, there's feeling within that. I mean, this is the wankiest conversation ever, but it is true. And I think that also ties into the whole, the whole thing of what you're doing, because through no act of story, I mean, there is story there, but it's not told through cutscenes or dialogue. It's basically you figure it out as you go. And, there is this whole, we won't get into it too much just in case other people haven't played it, but there is this whole, why are you killing? Because these things don't attack you. You attack them. It's like you just go up and go, hey, look, I need something from you, so I'm going to murder you. And that kind of has its own themes and connotations as well. And that's why I think it's really good. Everyone always goes on about, mature games. And, for some reason they think that has to be, you get a chainsaw and you take someone's head off. And don't get me wrong, I love that. That's the greatest thing in the world. However, this to me is a mature game in the sense that everything it deals with, it allows you to make your own mind up, and it presents it in a way where you go, how the hell did they create this to begin with? Yeah. And that's why it just blows me away. And the fact that, I'm not going to go into specifics, but I was a young 20, in my early 20s when it first came out. Yeah. And the fact that now I'm a lot older, and yet it can still affect me in the same way, even though I've played it a dozen times, if not more. I think it's excellent. I think it's probably going to be the best game of this year. Although I think it'd be the best game of most years, to be honest, because I just think it's so different. I mean, not even Team Ico were able to capture the same magic as we know from Project Guardian. What's it called? Last Guardian.
The Last Guardian, yeah.
No, they couldn't even... Did you play Last Guardian out of interest?
I've played a little bit of it. It's
not good.
I've heard, everyone who's played Shadow of the Colossus, but it's like, it's not Shadow of the Colossus though, is it? It's just like, ugh.
I don't like it. It felt like a game that had lost its way long ago, and yet somebody, fair play to them, somebody thought, man, we've got to get this out in some fashion because it's become a running joke now. Yeah. It never really, I don't think, lived up to what I expected it to do.
I don't think it lived up to what anyone expected after 10 years, to be fair.
yeah, what you could do, exactly, yeah. But I thought it was a bit dull. It lacked because it had the same kind of emptiness as Shadow of the Colossus, and yet it didn't have that dangling carrot. And Shadow of the Colossus has a dangling carrot constantly. And also, there's one Colossi, I don't know which number it is, which is still to this day is genuinely terrifying. It generally puts the wind up you just because of the camera angle and the intensity and the tension. It's a wonderful video game. And it would be, if people want to have that games as art debate, I'd always, just go play that. Just go play that.
Yeah.
Did you play Ico by any chance?
No, I actually have no idea what ICO is all about. And I've heard of it, but I have no idea what it's about at all.
Again, it's the same kind of thing. It's more frustrating. It's got these shadows in it that keep dragging away your part. Oh, man. The problem with ICO is it's one big escort mission. And escort missions are terrible. I mean, it does do it very well in the sense that you do have genuine feelings of dread. But yeah, genuine. I don't like escort. I don't like when my fate in a video game relies on some AI-controlled nightmare. Oh, yeah, kill me.
On the side note, have you ever played Resident Evil 4?
I have played Resident Evil 4, yeah.
Because those escort missions with the daughter, it's just, oh my God.
I know. It's too much. And that's one of the reasons I prefer Resident Evil 5. We talked about that last time. I don't do it again. The amount of hate I got on the internet when I said I prefer Resident Evil 5 to Resident Evil 4. One person went, it just proves you're a racist. I was like, no, look, I know that there was racist controversy around Resident Evil 5, but that isn't the reason I liked it. I liked it because I thought it was a good shooting game. And they went, oh, well, that's because what you were shooting. No, I mean mechanics-wise. So thank you to that person who managed to... I don't usually get into Twitter debates, but he got me at the wrong time on the wrong day, and he pushed all my buttons. And I went back at him. I was like, what are you talking about? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I mean, before we get into sort of like the other news this week, have you been playing anything particular this week or recently? Any game kind of been taking your time away?
I finished Heavy Rain and then started Beyond Two Souls.
Wow, dude! Well, this is perfect, right? Because what's it called? That stupid new Android game 7,
Detroit Beyond Become Human, or what it is.
That is coming out soon. I went and watched all the trailers the other day for some work I'm doing, and I do like Quantic Dream. I don't like David Cage, but I do like Quantic Dream. I think that Fahrenheit was literally a game of two halves. The first half is brilliant, the second half is terrible. I think Heavy Rain is their masterpiece, and I think Beyond Two Souls is one of the worst games I've ever played. But that does.
Oh no way!
Yeah,
really.
How much have you played of it so far, Beyond Two Souls?
I've played. Well, it's hard to tell because it's
exactly.
it's so shuffled around, but I love it.
Well, that's good. We can talk about that. But let's just talk about it now. So, what did you think of Heavy Rain first? Because I love Heavy Rain is one of my favorite games. I'd put it in my top 15, maybe. I think I'd have to think about that, but I think it would be in there.
Heavy Rain is really good, but some decisions I'm just like, why have you made this decision? Like it's like The Room. Some of it is just so incomprehensible that it's brilliant. Like the voice acting for the kids is just why not re-record those for the re-release, which I'm playing on PS4? I don't understand it, but it's really good as a whole, but just oh my God, some of it is just so bad.
I can imagine it would do because I haven't played it since it came out on the PS3. Yeah, PS3. Yeah. So I imagine some of it's aged quite badly.
Yes.
Yeah, because at the time, because I remember at the time, what's the guy's name with the cool glasses? What's his name?
Norman Jayden.
How was, because I remember at the time that being a bit like cool, but I was like, I don't know about it. I mean, how is all those stuff now with his bleeding eyes and all that nonsense?
Well, it's really cool. It looks good. Like, if you zoom in on the faces, that's when things start to fall apart.
Yeah.
But like the whole game it looks like a PS4 game, so it all looks good, and all of this. It does look like a remaster. That's so good. It looks really good. And it's hard to tell obviously without playing the original, but there was nothing like, oh, this is a bit PS3-ish, apart from the facial animations. That's the only thing really.
Well, you get away with that, I guess. Yeah. But no, I like the story I just like the story that it told because I think it kept it.
The story is so clever, yeah.
Yeah, and also it kept it real. And Fahrenheit was good when it was in the world of reality, and it went silly when it went into the paranormal stuff. But Heavy Rain, more or less, it kind of touches upon it, but more or less it sticks to reality, and that's why I really liked it. My problem with Beyond Two Souls was, I don't know, none of it made any sense, and it was just. I mean, you tell me why you like it, and then I'll chirp in every now and then.
And then I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, do that. That's fine. Yeah.
Well, obviously, like I said to my friend, because I'm doing it at share play. I said to my friend, until this gets to the end, I can't pass a full judgment because all of these strands might not ever come together.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting all these 12 different stories.
Oh, you get a lot of story. A lot of story in that game.
Yeah, and no, but I really like it. Coming straight from Heavy Rain, like all of the movement seems refined. It looks amazing. Like the graphics are amazing. I think the story is really good so far, and the mechanics with Aiden. Not sure why it's not called Aiden, but whatever. And I just think it is all really intriguing, and I'm really it's like Heavy Rain. Where I'm really looking forward to where all these strands go. But at the end, I might come back to you and be like, I hate that. That was just none of it came together. I might be, but obviously I can't tell.
That is See, that was my problem. It's the last couple of hours for me where I was just like, what is this nonsense? What is this absolute nonsense? Because again, to me, it loses its way. So I won't say too much because I want to see when you get there. We'll talk about it. But I didn't really like. I can't. My brain has just gone blank. What
Ellen
is the
Page?
Yeah. What's the scary looking dude? Green
Willem
Goblin.
Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. Thank you. Yeah. I didn't really like either of their two characters because. Maybe it was because I could only see Willem Dafoe and Ellen Page. Maybe that was the problem. I just couldn't see past it in this video game. But I don't know. It was just, it was a disconnect for me. And some of the what I liked about Heavy Rain, I know Heavy Rain jumps around the place because you're going from character to character, and it's not really a straight story. But it felt more of a straight story than Beyond Two Souls. Beyond Two Souls, literally to me, felt like. I don't know, like that Simpsons episode, 25 short stories. It felt like that, but not as well put together. And I don't know, I was absolutely baffled. Absolutely baffled.
I think it's great with Heavy Rain that you've got that rainfall counter, which leads up to a key event.
Yeah.
And you know it's going somewhere, and you can feel the sort of gears turning and the tension rising and things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas with Beyond Two Souls, I'm like, where am I in the story?
Well, that's it.
Am I halfway through? Am I a quarter of the way through? I've no idea.
Yeah, that's exactly what I felt like. And I think, the other thing is, when we could talk about Heavy Rain, we're talking about a detective thriller, right? And a detective or a noir, whatever you want to call it. So easy for me to love, just so easy to get into. Whereas Beyond Two Souls is more of a, I don't know, batshit crazy something or other. It blew my mind. I mean, I can't tell you why I didn't like it, but yeah.
And I think with Heavy Rain, like you say, it's that dangling carrot. It's the you need to find out who the killer is and save the victim. That is the classic, and it works. Like, it's not unoriginal. That's people love that, finding out who the killer is.
Absolutely, dangling carrot.
Yeah.
I didn't really have that Beyond Two Souls. I didn't really care where it was going. Have you got to the bit where Ellen Page is basically living in a shack?
I like homeless, yeah.
Yeah, you got to that bit.
Yeah. I've just done that last night.
That's where it started to that's where it started to sort of go awry for me. But we'll come back to this.
Yeah, we'll do it.
how are you? Because this is my thing. This is why I don't know what to expect from Detroit, because it's really I should like it, because I've gone like, kind of like, but kind of hate, love, hate. So this should be back on the love if we're going by Quantic Dream games. But I don't like the story. That's my worry. I don't like this 3 androids that have become human or whatever the hell it is. It doesn't leap off the page straight. I mean, I don't want to judge it yet because I need to play it first. But it doesn't leap off the page to me as in this is a game that I need to play. The only reason I'm going to play it is because, like I say, when they have struck gold in the past,
they've earned the right, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I know there's a load of controversy with David Cage. I'm not going to talk about that here. I don't know is the answer. So there's not much I can say other than that. But as a game developer, I do think he has some good ideas. So I'm intrigued to see. I'm intrigued to see where it goes. But
have you always felt like that, or was it like at the beginning, like and then it sort of faded away, or like,
in terms of Quantic Dream?
In terms of Detroit, were you ever on the hype train?
No, I remember when they released that demo. That was it, Koru, whatever that was called, Kara. Yes. And I was like, oh no, don't deal with androids. I don't know what it is. I think because as soon as you enter that world, which is slightly out of the realms of reality, I start thinking that's where they go wrong. Whereas almost the. What do you call it? The barriers that he put on himself and they put on themselves with Heavy Rain, but they couldn't go too far at the realms of reality because it was a cop chase. So it was like you can't. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to judge it yet. I want to see what he does. Maybe at the time I wasn't that into Heavy Rain. I can't remember. I remember thinking that I was quite excited about it, but I wasn't 100% sure. But I mean, I guess you must be well up for playing it though. If you're right in the Quantic Dream world right now.
Well, I started Heavy Rain about a month ago, and I had zero hype for Detroit. It was just like someone recommended Heavy Rain to me, and I was like, okay, cool, let's try it. But I still have zero hype for Detroit, to be honest. If someone told me it's delayed for a year, I'll be like, okay.
Yeah, I'd be like that. Who cares? I don't know, go fine, whatever.
Yeah, I just don't know what it is. It's just like I really like narrative experiences, but nothing about Detroit has been like, it's just like, it's androids and they might be sentient and feel whatever. It's just maybe it's just I'm not giving it enough time, but I'm just not really bothered, to be honest.
No, I'm like that. It comes at a good time. It comes out like May or something, right? Or April or something like that. So I think that's a good time. I'll definitely give it some time. I'll definitely give it some time. I also meant to say as well, going back to Shadow of the Colossus quickly, I am, for the first time in ages, going to do a Let's Play series of that. That's going to start this week. So for all the people, well, basically that's being funded by Patreon. So if everyone on Patreon that got together they said they wanted it, and they all pulled their stuff together. So thank you to everyone that did that, and obviously to yourself as well, Sam. That was very... it was very nice that day when that happened. I was like, oh, how lovely.
Have you been playing anything else aside from Shadow of the Colossus?
No, I've been playing Shadow of the Colossus. I'm going to be playing LA Noire again on Switch because I love it. And I'm going to do a Let's Play of stuff of that. It's just the best. I was reading some reviews on it the other day. Some people are so down on it. But to me, it's kind of fun. It ties into Heavy Rain. The reason it works so much for me is because it's got dangling carrot throughout. That's why it's so good. So even when it kind of does dip, because it's got this overarching story that never really goes away, you're like, well, this is great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually don't like what they've done with the Switch version because I can't remember the names of the three. It used to be like Accuse, Be a Nice Guy, or like...
Doubt.
Right? Yeah, they've changed Doubt. I think they've changed Doubt to Accuse but I hated that because Doubt used to be hilarious. Doubt used to be, you think they're going to say something like, I'm not too sure, and he just like slam his hand down and go, fuck you, you piece of shit. You'd be like, whoa, that's not what I wanted to do.
Fallout 4 thing, you just never know what you're going to get, and it's just such a risk. You just don't want to be like... Sarcasm could be brutal, or like doubt could be like mean.
It's like when BioWare started to fuck around with that as well. I remember BioWare just used to give you the sentences and they'd literally repeat that verbatim, but then with Mass Effect they got a bit more vague. So you'd read something and then he'd say it, like, no, that's not what I wanted to imply. But I really do like LA Noire. I thought maybe going back to it again, I'd see all these problems people have with it. I just think it's a great game. It looks great. It plays great. I know the whole facial animation thing is the big draw, but that to me is irrelevant. It's the game itself that I enjoy. And sure, the shooting is poor. I wouldn't say poor. The shooting is mediocre, but I can still point a gun and people die when the bullets hit them. So I'm not playing it to shoot people.
Yeah, who's going, oh, I love some shooting, let's play LA Noire.
Well, that's what I don't understand, And I saw that as a big criticism. I'm like, well, go play Call of Duty or Battlefield or something. I mean, they're really good shooting games. They exist. So I've been doing that. Otherwise, I've got into this weird, bizarre... I think we talked about it on the Patreon Q&A the other day. 10-minute FIFA games have become like my heroin. It's so weird. If I just need to sort of chill out, I just play 10. I haven't played FIFA in years. But I've just started doing 10-minute FIFA games. And it's such a good way to chill out, which is very, very strange indeed.
Yeah.
But no, I do like them. Otherwise, no, that's kind of, they're my games at the moment. And we mentioned Call of Duty, actually. We'll segue into... Actually, no, we won't. We'll do that next. Because I want to talk... And I don't know if you've played any of it, but if not, we'll just talk about it briefly. Did you get involved in any of the Sea of Thieves stuff?
No, I just... it didn't sort of... It just sort of passed me by.
Yeah.
And B, it was just like... It's one of those games, I don't really do betas or whatever. I just sort of listen to what's being said and then just get it, really. Maybe I should get it.
Well, no, it's funny you say that because I don't do it either because I'm always like, well, I feel like I'm going to take away from the real experience when it comes out, so I'm just going to leave it.
I have played it, though, at separate occasions.
What do you think? Because I obviously know what it is, and if you don't know what it is, Sea of Thieves, new game by Rare. It's basically a co-op pirate game. That's all, you don't need to get into specifics. But I tell you what this beta has done. I like Rare, but I wouldn't necessarily be jumping off my chair to play this. But after seeing everybody's reactions to the beta, now I'm like, maybe I should play this game. It actually sounds really fun. I mean, is that kind of what you took away from it?
It's one of those things. I think like a beta is a great way to get hyped for this kind of game because it's a certain closed period of time. And this format where it's a sandbox and there's no story, like you're not working like Wildlands to get to an end. It's a sort of like you do different quests and you maroon ships or whatever, and that seems to be good for a week. But the real test is going to be like it releases this year, but come Christmas, are people still going to be really hyped about it?
Yeah,
that's I think the better test because
absolutely.
Because now you've got all people like hungry for more because they've only just got a little glimpse.
Yeah.
But it's whether it's got that longevity because it's like Minecraft in the sense that it hasn't got that pull for long term. You make your own adventures, and it's really good for short periods of time. But the real test, like I say, is going to be time, I think.
What did you do when you play it? Like, what kind of... Do you get some booty? Did you walk the plank? Did you sail the seven seas?
Well, I played it with some devs and they were just like guiding us because you can't have people just like wandering around for the demo session being like, this is really aimless and boring.
Yeah.
So they just took us on an adventure and then we went, got a pirate ship and then did did one of those riddles to get to some treasure, and then some other pirate ship just came and sunk our ship and stuff. So it's just loads of stuff happening. It was really fun, and it's really cool that you could like mess around and piss about as well, because you could like lock people in the whatever it's called in the ship, and it is very much make your own fun though. Like if you're like, what do I do? Then you've sort of already lost. Like,
yeah, you need to kind of just go with it. It's almost like a reactionary game. I do want to play it now. I think I agree with you. I don't think I could play it for more than a few weeks. I think I would lose my my focus with it. But I think there is something there. I think it looks quite cool, and I like pirates. And I do like the fact that this year we're getting Sea of Thieves and Skull and Bones, which are basically the same game, yet one's a bit more adult. I mean, that's basically what it is, which I think is hilarious. But I mean, I've got a love-hate relationship with Ubisoft games, so I don't know how that will go. But I think when Rare hit, they hit well. So I'm intrigued by it, but I think you're right. They're going to have to come. I mean, I don't know how much content's in there to begin with, but they're going to have to make sure they flag that content really well, and keep pushing people in the right direction to make sure that it doesn't get old quickly.
And what's important is it's on Game Pass from day one. So Game Pass users are going to get that for free, and then it's going to have a really high player base, install base. There's going to be loads of people with it. It's going to look really thriving. Word of mouth's going to get around, etc., etc. So yeah, it's going to be really good.
I'm really excited about this Game Pass stuff. I remember being on the Video Gamer podcast like 3 years ago and saying somebody needs to Netflix video games. Why?
I think I remember hearing that.
Yeah, I was like, why? And everyone like I sort of point out that was around the same time that I said the new Xbox would be called the Xbox One X. The amount of heat, the amount of insults I got for saying that. And then I was right. I mean, that was longer than 3 years ago. But still, I said they would call the next Xbox One X. And I remember people looking at me and going, Simon Miller, you're scum. And I was right. And I didn't even have any pre-information. I just knew. But yeah, I think Games Pass now sounds amazing. Like, how much is it a month now? I can't remember.
I think it's $7.99. PS Now is $12.99, I think. So if you just compare those, then yeah, it's looking really good.
It is looking really good because I mean, I understand it's a difficult model, and I understand that you can't sort of stream games the same way you can stream movies in the sense that games are massive and a movie isn't anywhere near the size. However, the concept will work, and I think Netflix bloody released the Cloverfield movie last night after the Super Bowl. I mean. That's the kind of world we've got to in. I'm not saying that video games should start doing that. We all remember the Saturn debacle at E3 '95, wherever it was. That was fun. But I just think this is a great direction to start heading in, because that's the world we live in nowadays. And video games are always, well, to me anyway, always feel like they should be pushing the boundaries of what people expect just because of what they are. So I applaud Microsoft. I think Microsoft right now are doing pretty good, Given they went through that bad patch where everybody hated them, I actually think right now they're on some form.
Yeah, it's like, I guess at the beginning of the Xbox One cycle, they were like actively being arseholes. And like, you can't say that. That's not diplomatic at all. But they were making actively bad decisions, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But now there's just an absence of that special something. And I don't think that's hateable as such. It's just like, it just needs a bit more, because Phil Spencer has done wonders. Games Pass is doing well. And there's things like Sea of Thieves, which is if that takes off, it could be like a really lovable game, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So they're doing a lot of good. It's just, I think the exclusives is the main argument.
Well, I mean, that's when we'll talk about this as well as we're here. When those rumours the other day cropped up about Microsoft looking into buying EA, I kind of understood it, because you're right. They don't have any exclusives. They've got Crackdown 3 and they got State of Decay 2 and they've got Sea of Thieves, and then you're like, yep. I mean, they'll have another Gears of War game at some point, another Halo game at some point, sure. But that's why I thought it made sense for them. I couldn't work it out, because surely if they bought EA, that means FIFA is exclusive to Xbox One.
Yeah, that's never going to... I think EA would be like, yes, but there's no way we're not doing that deal.
You can't take an official football game off a platform. That's madness. I can't see it happening. But I can see why they'd want to. They do need property. However, I mean, I don't know what announcements they've got this year. I'm actually quite out of the loop with all that stuff. But it only ever takes 2 or 3 games that sound pretty good, and all of a sudden you can be back on track. I mean, the problem with Microsoft's exclusive was that last Remedy game, Quantum Theory, was a bad video game. And I think that
lots of people love that. Like, I've heard only bad things, and then a few people like, I love it, and I just like,
Why did they love it? It was not good. Actually, no, I mean, everyone's horses for courses and all of that, but I don't. And also, it doesn't help that Crackdown's been delayed 3 times now.
Yeah. It's really not looking great for Crackdown.
Well, I'm not even a big Crackdown fan. Crackdown to me is not a sell whatsoever. Like, if a copy just landed in my feet, I'd probably play it, but I don't know what it is. I've never, even when I played the first one, everyone was raving about it. I thought it was kind of fun, but I don't know. I couldn't get my head around it.
Yeah.
Did you play any of the Crackdown games?
No, it was one of those ones like it just looked like a bit of a what I didn't want Saints Row to turn into, which it eventually turned into.
Yeah.
Like that whole open world superhero thing just didn't really draw for me. I was just like, no, you're right.
No, I'm exactly the same. And I like the fact that Terry Crews is related to it. I like Terry Crews. I'm a big fan. However, I don't. We'll see. We'll see though. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, Microsoft certainly do need. Well, they need. Well, who knows? I do think that Games Pass thing I think did wonders for them. Right, going back to that Call of Duty thing that I spoke about earlier. I don't think this is going to be a massive surprise anyway. But hey, look, it came out over the last few days. Apparently, this year's Call of Duty is going to be Black Ops 4. I mean, that's the cycle, right? Last year's was Sledgehammer. The year before that was Infinity Ward. So now it's Treyarch's turn again. And if Treyarch are doing it, why wouldn't you do Black Ops 4? I mean, Black Ops, I think probably right now is, the best sort of mini-series within that series that everybody loves. Like, most people seem to... I don't see much hate for Black Ops ever.
Yeah, no, I think Black Ops 3 was sort of like... I don't think it damaged its reputation, but it was just sort of like, okay. I didn't see many people rave or dislike Black Ops 3 that much. I think it was just sort of like, whatever.
Yeah.
But then Black Ops 1 and 2 were great.
I remember Black Ops 2, people loved the shit out of Black Ops 2. People loved that game. So... I think the most interesting thing about this one is that apparently it's going to come out to Switch. And I mean, it has to, right? Because it's now got a damn good install base. And obviously Dark Souls got recently announced for that as well. So that, to me, will be...
Which you must be thrilled about.
Oh, I can't wait to play it. I'm not playing that game ever again. I'm never playing Dark Souls again. I hate that shit. I'd play a Bloodborne 2. I wouldn't play a Dark Souls 4 or whatever the next one would be. But yeah, I'd be up for Call of Duty coming to Switch, especially if they get the multiplayer stuff sort of, smash and bang on there, which I think they'd have to. I think that'd be a really cool game on Switch. I think it would work really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know whether it's Call of Duty fans have their console,
That's true, yeah.
But I don't know why anyone would be like, oh, I want it on Switch this year, or why any people who aren't into Call of Duty would be like, oh, I've got a Switch, maybe it's time to get into Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's true. I think it'd be much more of an impulse buy. I don't think anyone's actually going to go out of their way to, pick it up. Yeah, you're right. You're not going to get an Xbox One player who's been playing it for the last, 5-6 years or whatever to go, oh, I'm going to get it for Switch now.
Yeah.
That'd be
especially
crazy.
when it's not confident. I don't think anyone would be confident that they get the same level of online quality or, ease of access than they would on Xbox or PS4.
No, you're right. But I still always think Switch has that massive selling point because, like I say, I don't have FIFA for Switch, but I want FIFA for Switch just so I can play my 10-minute, doses of heroin as I go. So that would, that would be preferable. But I think, look, I mean, the best-selling game of last year was COD WW2. COD's not going anywhere. I remember a few years ago, COD was dead. It's certainly not. And, now that Nintendo do have a console that is successful, I think actually putting Call of Duty on there makes all the sense in the world.
It's like one of those things. People say that Call of Duty was dead at Infinite Warfare. Like, if you see those player numbers and the sales numbers, It wasn't dead. Like, what?
I know.
When people say Pokemon Go is dead, like, I mean, it's not like it was, but look at the player numbers. Like.
Yeah, ask the CEO of that company if he's happy with his bonus every year. Be like, yeah, I love it. It makes me really pleased. Because the other thing is as well, it's going to stick to the modern setting, anything like that. It's not going to be in World War II, and that's a bit. I mean, I'd be intrigued to see what Battlefield does. Because I hope Battlefield stays in the past. I like Battlefield 1 a lot, and I actually like COD World War WW2 as well. I think I'd prefer. I just do. I prefer it more than the modern setting. But I guess if you are going to release yearly games, it makes sense to try and keep that as diverse as possible.
Yeah. So we'll see. I wonder if
you get Call of Duty Labo. Turn some cardboard into a gun or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something to look forward to, right? I'm pumped. I'm excited. And of course, the other rumour that was going around today, and I don't know how you feel about this. It may be even before your time. apparently, and I'm not surprised, like last year, Activision released that Crash Bandicoot remaster and it sold all the copies. It sold all the copies. So now, obviously, they sat down and went, we need to make a fucking new Crash Bandicoot game. And apparently, it's coming out this year. And apparently, it's coming out to the PC and Switch as well. Obviously, the PlayStation 4. That's fascinating in itself. Like a Sony game on Switch. I mean, if that doesn't kind of underline... I mean, that's obviously a rumour. But if that doesn't underline how much Nintendo has separated itself from the pack, I don't know what does. But, I mean, A, that, but B, I hate Crash Bandicoot. I go straight in there. So, what's your take on it?
Well, it just seems bizarre to release a new Crash Bandicoot game, if that's what they are considering. Because they did that after Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3 came out. They tried to do Crash games on the PS2, and they just weren't the same level.
Yeah.
It just might be like total deja vu, because they'll be like, okay, we can't reproduce the success of these first 3 games again.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
it just seems like just remaster Crash Bash or Crash Team Racing. That's what everyone on the internet wants.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I know they're trying to reproduce the success, but it's just the people want the remasters still. There's clearly a market for them, and I don't think they can produce it the same quality if they are making a new one, unless they really go carbon copy and do the exact same gameplay style but with just new levels and stuff like that.
That's what I think they're going to do. I need to clarify as well. I got my words mixed. What I meant to say is that the Insane trilogy is apparently coming to PC and Switch, and then a new one on the PS4. But if you're going to do that, I'm sure they'll all tie it in. But I mean, I think that's what they will do. I think, excuse me, if they are going to go back for a new idea, it will basically be the first game again, but they remake it with different levels. So we're literally in 2018-19 going to be playing a game where the camera is forward-facing and you just run into the camera, which to me, and you go left and right and jump. I mean, that to me is, what world are we living in? Now, I'm being facetious to a certain extent. But
you're joking, but not really.
But I just don't get it. I never got Crash Bandicoot back then, so these days I don't get it at all. But hey, look, it's a business at the end of the day. That's what video games are. They're a business. And apparently, I'm just looking up now, apparently we haven't had a new one in 10 years in terms of a mainline Crash Bandicoot game. 10 years.
Yeah, there was a really terrible one. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, it was just like, just stop. Like, they tried introducing new things, like he was riding beasts and stuff.
I remember that,
like,
yeah. Oh,
just stop. Like, it's dead. It's over.
Although saying that, I do remember my young cousin, I have a cousin who loves games. He must have been about 10, 12 when that game came out. And he flipping loved those games. So sometimes when I see that, I'm like, maybe I'm just a cynical old man. Maybe secretly these kid games are actually lighting up people's worlds. But then I remember when I was a kid, I played Super Mario World, and I was like, no, I'm right. I'm definitely right. We've lowered the bar. So, but I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I know that I'll get a load of people saying, no, I definitely do want a new Crash Bandicoot game. I know we're going to get that. Like, I'm 100% sure. The fans are out there, and they're quite passionate too.
Yeah. I mean, it's such good business for them, because it's just like, we can take an existing model, just make more of the same sort of, and then make loads of money off of that.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't need a new mascot or anything. You just get what's loved. And it's just great, because people want a Spyro remaster as well. Yeah. They know they've got all that in the bank for the next 5 years, which is crazy, because I assume they will remaster Spyro at some point, and someone will.
Oh, especially now that Skylanders has gone the way of, that's out. So yeah, absolutely you can go back to that. But I mean, that's the thing with Activision. Say what you like about them, but their portfolio is incredible. They have like 4 games. They do really well with all of them. They've gone the complete opposite way to what you'd assume. They have a few games that do really well, and they're like, yeah, we're just going to keep doing that, and every now and then release a new one.
And they're in a marriage with Blizzard, which is crazy.
I mean, that company's never going anywhere, is it? I mean, that's going to be alive forever. It's mental. Yeah. Mental. One last thing I do want to talk about before we finally wrap up a new episode of The Week in Gaming. Obviously, Red Dead got an release date. We got to talk about that. Red Dead Redemption 2 is now coming out 26th of October, PS4 and Xbox One, which is later than they announced. But look, if you've grown up with Rockstar games, they get delayed. I wouldn't even call them delay. I don't know why I call those Rockstar things. They just make up release dates whenever they want. Yeah. I'm very excited after watching that, the trailer and the screenshots and everything. I mean, I know what to expect. It's a Rockstar Wild West game. However, the original Red Dead Redemption to me is still, we talked about best games ever. I mean, it's probably in my top 10. The first Red Dead Redemption, not allowed to call it. I'm not getting into it. I think it's wonderful. And obviously, it's a prequel, and I don't know how they're going to handle it. But to me, even Rockstar games that I may not say, like GTA 5, right? I thought it was a brilliant game. I reviewed it for Video Gamer. I played it. I was like, I can't give this anything but a 10. It's too it's too well put together. It's too good a video game. However, I still didn't like it as much as other people did, but I could still completely understand why it deserved all the praise that it got. This kind of goes the other way to me. This is, I'll understand why it's a good game, and I'll fall in love with it at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, it was always going to get delayed. I don't know why they bothered putting a release date at the front of it, because everyone's just like, okay, that'll get delayed. I wonder when it will get delayed to. It's just like, I don't know why they put a release date at the beginning of it, because they should have just said, it will be coming, and then announced this release date just now.
Yeah. Did you play the first Red Dead Redemption? Well, that was
I did. I'm going to be controversial and be like, I really didn't like it.
Yes, this is good, Sam. This is why I like having you on. Tell me why. We can talk about it.
Well, I just found it like so bland. It was just like, oh yeah, let's do this mission. Oh yeah, like let's ride through this sandy wilderness for like 10 minutes. And it's like the shooting was good, and it was all like Wild West stuff, and that's all good for like, because there's no Wild West games that are really any good. There's not a lot at least, and that's all great. But it's just GTA style of shooting, but with old guns, because it's the third-person shooter that Rockstar do so well. I didn't find the world that interesting. The story was okay, and I just thought it wasn't bad. It was just like, yeah, it's all right. But obviously, when you say that about Red Dead Redemption, everyone's like, all right, what do you mean, all right? It's like the best games ever made.
But I kind of understand what you mean, because what you didn't like is what I liked. I think I'm so into the Western feel, and so into sort of, taking my horse through this kind of emptiness and this, like you say, this desert. That's what I loved. I loved how long it took me to get to each mission, because it was just like, it kind of like the Colossus thing. It just felt empty and sparse, and I got into that. And I even liked Mexico, and nobody liked Mexico. Everyone said Mexico was awful. I thought Mexico was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think to me, it kind of worked the other way. I was so into the setting, and I was so desperate for a good cowboy game. What was that crap Ubisoft one? Call of Juarez. I was even excited about that. And the Cartel was one of the worst video games I've ever played. But anything with a Western theme, yeah. I want to play. And I just think, because Rockstar put so much money into their video games, the look and the feel of it, as it kind of did just feel so slick. Oh, I loved it. Did you finish it, the first Red Dead Redemption?
No, I just I played a little bit of the story, like, a few hours, and it was like, okay, whatever. And then just messed around on the online bit for a while, because I don't think it had actual missions online, if I'm wrong. It's like GTA 4 in the sense that you had the open world and you could just piss them out.
So, yeah.
And then I was just like, okay, I'm done.
No, because, I mean, do you know what the ending is?
Oh, yeah.
All right, spoiler now. If I want to talk about it. So, I mean, it came out 10 years ago, whenever it was. So you have plenty of time to play it. But turn off now if you don't want to hear it. But I think the reason, even if there were bad bits in it that I now don't remember, that ending with John Marston and his family, and just when you come out that barn and you get shot down, is so well done. And so few video games kind of put you in a position where you're not actually in control, and execute it that well. I kind of just made everything all right for me. And when you then become his son and you go kill his killer, and it comes up with redemption. I mean, that game is beautiful. That's a beautiful video game for me. That is.
Yeah.
And I think John Marston is one of my favorite characters ever. I'm trying to think favorite characters in games: Marcus Phoenix, John Marston. I'd probably throw Mario in there, little scamp. I'd have to think about it. But yeah, he comes to mind straight away. That's a weird question, but you can answer that as well. Favorite characters in video games?
I mean, I'm not prepared for this at all.
No, you're not. I wasn't prepared. I know where it came from.
Tekken, King from Tekken has always been my favourite.
That's a good thing. Actually, I throw Rio/Ken in there as well. Actually, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You can't have that when you're a kid.
Did you play Undead Nightmares then?
I did play the zombie, but yeah, I did play that as well. That was nuts. I don't know if those things where Rockstar went, zombies are cool. I really liked it. I thought it was really. I don't think it was as good as the main game, but I thought
I don't think it was trying to be. It was just like this is a mode with zombies. Enjoy it.
Yeah, but that's why I liked it, because it was just like, look, you want content? Here's some content, and I thought it worked really well, because again, they got the setting and theme so right. It didn't really matter what you were actually doing. It's like when I talk about DLC, it always comes back to I think it was Arkham Knight. The Arkham Knight DLC were so shit, because all it was these terrible thought out things that felt like ideas for the main game that nobody had finished.
Whereas, that's what I mean. Like, it's so good. Like, it's so good when DLC, like Blood Dragon and stuff, it's just like, we're going to make this totally standalone, totally different. You can buy it if you want, even without getting the main game. There you go. It's totally mad, crazy.
I totally agree. That's what I'd want from all my DLC. Because then it feels like DLC. It feels like, well, we like the universe we've created, and we're proud of the mechanics. And hey, look, we came up with this cool idea to sort of frame it in a different way. You're like, yeah, That's what I want. But no one does it. No one does it. I mean, who else has done it? Rockstar done it. Yeah, Ubisoft did it with Far Cry, absolutely. And then I can't. I mean, I'm sure there's more, but I can't. I mean, some people put snow in their levels at Christmas, but that does not count. You know, putting a snow filter over your game is not changing the dynamics. I'd love it if all games did that. I really, really would. Like, why can't something like, I don't know, Gears of War have DLC that's all in first person? Why not? Why can't we do that? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I don't know much about the development process. Maybe someone will tell me that would take ages, but I can't. You know, it doesn't even matter if it's bad because it's just an experiment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see more of that. I really, really would. But we'll have to see. And that's pretty much it. That's everything that happened in the week in gaming this week. I don't think anything else has gone down. We're still in that kind of lull period. Obviously, Monster Hunter World came out and Street Fighter V Arcade Edition came out. Obviously, Shadow of the Colossus is about to come out. So we are getting the video games, you know, sort of some named video games coming out finally. Is there anything you're particularly looking forward to in the next few weeks, by the way, Sam, gaming-wise? I mean UFC 3 came out as well, which is actually, it's okay, but they didn't fix the ground game, which upset me. That's what really needed to be fixed, but it's kind of the same.
What was that, sorry?
UFC 3, EA Sports UFC
yes.
3. Like, the stand-up's really good, the visuals are amazing. But yeah, just, I really wanted them to fix it's not bad, the submission and ground game. It just needed something, and I don't think that it got what it needed. It still feels far too finicky. But I mean, it's good that, you know, these games are actually, you know, starting to drip out again, because it does get a bit quiet. But is there anything in sort of the next few weeks you're looking forward to? I'd say one, actually, and then I'll let you jump in. Kingdom Come Deliverance comes out next week. The weirdest game I've ever played. It is so weird, but I think that's why I'm obsessed with it. It's just
it's one of those things where it's like those hardcore RPG fans, you want so much content in this really deep, immersive world. Everyone's like, yes, this is the game.
Yeah. And it's to the point where if you put a helmet on, you cannot see anything, basically. It's just mental. It is a mental game. But yeah, is there anything coming out next few weeks that you've got your eye on?
Bayonetta on Switch.
That's next week as well, isn't it? Or 2 weeks? Yeah.
Yeah, Bayonetta 2 I didn't play because it was on the Wii U, and obviously I didn't. And so that's really good. And Dynasty Warriors 9 as well.
Oh, yeah, that's just coming out at the end of the month, isn't it? Or soonish, some point. No, when is that out, actually?
At some point.
I think it's sooner than that, actually, yeah. No, I think, I mean, I'm looking at the list now, yeah. Dynasty Warriors 9, Kingdom Come Deliverance. These kind of like these niche games, but I think, yeah, Bayonetta 2. And Metal Gear Survive is this month as well. So I look forward to taking the piss out of that. And then, we get into March, and you've got The Crew 2, Sea of Thieves. Yeah, I mean, A Way Out, which I'm intrigued about. So, yeah, we are getting back into the games dripping out as well, which is good. And I think we're probably in for a good year for games. So, Sam, before we wrap up, is there anything you want to plug, anything you want to throw out there, social media, anything like that?
I think I can't remember any of my handles and stuff. So
well, that's good. I will find the handles, and if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in the description. If you're watching on SoundCloud, it'll be in the description. Which also means if you're listening on iTunes or any podcast app, it will be on the description, so you can find Sam there. I'm at Simon316 on Twitter. Please subscribe, give us 5 stars, all of that. Patreon.com/Simon316 is what fuels all of this. So even if you can give $1, you'll be making me a very happy man. And also, if you're wondering when you're going to hear the Week in Gaming again, let's hope that it's next Monday. I mean, that's the plan. That's the plan. And I promise I will do my best to stick to it. But Sam, thank you very much for joining me.
No worries.
And yeah, we'll be back in 7 days' time to talk about the Week in Gaming. And I think a lot's going to go down. That will be exciting. Actually, I think there's a new story that's going to break tomorrow that I may have had a little tip-off about. So you can look forward to that. But that's what I'll do. I will end with a tease, and I'll speak to you very soon.